All right, y'all. Let's try to talk this through. I think everybody knows the Dogs are going to be the number one team in the country when these rankings come out on Tuesday night. I think the challenge now is, if you've got the Dogs at one, and we're just going to say Ohio State at two, then you get into a real kind of interesting situation. And I'm only gonna go through the top 10. Then you kind of get into an interesting situation where um, you know, who should be your three? For me, it would be Michigan, and that's actually what I'm gonna roll with. I think Michigan has been too good the whole year, as it relates to just the way they've played, the way they've looked. Some of us use the eye test because we're uh, rational human beings and we're not trying to rely on some stupidity of a committee. Um, I wonder legitimately whether Tennessee will be at four or not. Because once you start talking about one loss teams with impressive wins, there's no one that has that more than the Vols. The challenge for Tennessee from here on out is that they don't have any more marquee games. Missouri is probably going to play them tougher than people think. Tennessee's not losing to Missouri, but that's not at all what I'm suggesting. But what I am suggesting is Tennessee has a good Missouri has a pretty good defense. Georgia struggled with them. The Dogs were like a 28-point favorite on the road. Tennessee's a three-score favorite at home. So Tennessee's going to have to not just win, but look good from here on out. And they're not going to get credit for beating the brakes off Missouri. They're not going to get credit for beating Vanderbilt's brains in. I mean, I don't think they're going to get credit for beating South Carolina unless South Carolina beats Clemson. You won't know that until then. Does Clemson survive to that point? I mean, so I think right now the basics of this is Texas Christian's undefeated. They're going to get stuck at the four. I think Tennessee will be your five simply because they have better wins. I suspect that Oregon is going to be your six with LSU as your seven. Obviously, there are some teams here. The Pac-12 and the the SEC and the Pac-12 have a lot to still figure out. Alabama or Tennessee, Alabama or Ole Miss are going to be your 10. That is kind of an irrelevant situation. They are battling for the hope of playing in the Sugar Bowl. If you don't know all the stupid intricacies that I do about all this stuff, then let me just lay it out. Let me lay it out real quick. Hey, look, the Kelee event is going to be on November 20th. If you're watching this, we're in the 30s that we have remaining. We have fewer than that's how many we've got left. We are going to sell it until those 30 are out, and that's it. So get it now while you can. You get a book with you when you arrive. We're going to start the event at 5:30. Get everybody ready to roll. It's going to be an awesome event. You get any one thing you want signed. If you want more than that signed, you can have that. If you're not in town, let me know. You can still get stuff. You can send it to me. You can drop it off at our friends at Red Zone. All of these things are possible. Look, this is probably going to be the last event. Probably. I don't know what Keeley's schedule is, but I do know that we're getting the holidays. We're getting the college football playoff. We're getting the SEC championship game. He's not going to be doing a lot of this stuff before Christmas. Okay. Take advantage now. We do not have a lot of spaces. I'm not being dramatic. I'm just letting y'all know because they're going quick. They've been going today and it's Monday. So, either the SEC champion that does not get into the playoff, which in this scenario would be LSU in theory, uh, goes to the Sugar Bowl. If the SEC champion goes to the playoff, and that could be LSU, that certainly would be Georgia, then the Sugar Bowl is mandated to replace the champion with the highest ranked team in the college football playoff rankings. That right now is going to be either Tennessee or LSU. So, what Bama and Oklahoma and Ole Miss are fighting for is the hope that if you're Ole Miss, you're 11-1. and that you can somehow wiggle past Tennessee or LSU. But right now, it looks like the Sugar Bowl is going to be jammed, as they say. It's going to be lousy with teams from the SEC because you've got Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, and the Rebels all in the top 11. Now, someone's going to fall. We know that from Tennessee at the bottom, from Alabama at the bottom. At 8, you know, I would have SC up there at 8, and then UCLA at 9. That will work itself out. That's not a huge deal. I think that the Pac-12 has got an interesting thing going on. I think they can wiggle their way into the playoff, whether that's SC or Oregon or UCLA. Now UCLA's gotten killed by Oregon, but if it's about getting killed, then that means Tennessee can't go because they got killed. They didn't get killed like Oregon did, and they didn't get killed like UCLA did when those teams played those games, but they got killed. So, has Bama gotten killed? No. They've lost on the last play of the game twice this season. They've also won on the last play of the game twice this season. It's not good enough. Clemson won on the last play of the game twice, then they lost. How about not getting to the last play of the game and then you're okay, right? I mean, like that's the ideal way to do it. Um, I think your clear-cut one is Georgia. I don't think there's any confusion there. I think then after that, the question becomes, who is the 2, who is the 4? Um, I would not have Tennessee below 5. I would not have Oregon below 6. I think those 2 teams are in striking zone area. I think if you're LSU, it's hard not to ignore that they got, their faces planted at home by Tennessee. I mean, we can talk about that game wasn't at night. So, I mean, it's a home game at noon. I mean, okay, the noon part's not good. Everybody understands that. But TV's playing y'all, upwards of $80 million a year soon. You're going to play when they tell you to play. I mean, that's just what it is. If someone were paying me 80 million, if someone were paying me 80 G's, sponsors, let me know. Because honestly, we are available. And I'm not joking now. I mean, like, we have the screen, you have us. We can sell your product. I know we can sell your product because we sell ours. And we're coming up into a very important time. But if you can't not complain about playing at noon when you're getting all of that money. Okay, I mean, it's disingenuous. It's intellectually, it's wrong. So I think we're going to see something approaching the AP poll, which, if they had done that a week ago, that would have made more sense. But the College Football Playoff Committee, they did not have a good week. They can remedy that right away. I do not trust this committee right now. I think they have to prove that they have settled down a little bit more, and they can come on with smiles and so forth, but they need to be criticized for last week. They got it wrong, and let's just review how they got it wrong. The number 1 team in the country lost to the number 3 team in the country. There was an opportunity to put the number 3 team as the number 1 team. Or even as the number 2, they refused to do that. That was a huge indictment, number 1. That's not the worst indictment, that's a bad indictment. The number 6 team last week lost on the road to the number 10 team. That's an indictment. That means they got that wrong. Texas Christian, I would have had Alabama higher, but the biggest indictment is you had Clemson at number 4. They got their ass kicked by 3 touchdowns on the road to an unranked team. I mean, no. So the combination of the Georgia situation and the Clemson, just having Clemson was a huge red flag to me at 4. Having them at 5, I'd have been like, you know what, all right, whatever, But no, they chose that. They picked that. Picking Tennessee at 1, we could all see it coming. I said that on here. It wasn't right. How many times do we have to be right and these other people are wrong? That's my question. Now y'all gonna you do it on Twitter. I don't care. But I mean, I like we watch. How can we watch more than they do? Like it's my job to watch the games, but damn, man. I mean, as a person that loves this sport, and this sport is my sport. I make a living off of it, literally. We've got to have better. It's got to be better. And if you're going to go with what you went with a week ago, the explanation's got to be better. Like the explanation's got to be better. Now, look, don't get too smart. Don't. I'm talking to the committee right now. Don't get too smart. Georgia's your one. You put Ohio State at one, which is not going to happen. But if you do any more of these nutball rankings that make no sense at all, no one's going to trust y'all. And that will erode what you're looking for, which is an expanded playoff. If we can't trust you to get 4 teams right, how can we possibly trust you to get 12? And I'm a proponent of expansion, but still. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.